You now get to say what many people in the world said, including myself, is I have a podcast. You get to say these words now, Doc.
Those are words I can tell you I never thought I would ever say. I am, I've never done anything like this. But John Meacham, who, if you don't know, you should know, he's one of the great political writers of our time. He actually wrote Joe Biden's acceptance speech, President Biden's acceptance speech. And he called and said, hey, would you like to do a podcast together? And I'm thinking, an NBA coach and a political writer, what do we have to talk about, number one? Mm-hmm. And can we pull this off? I thought it was just so interesting that I jumped for it, and I've had a ball doing it.
And so you spoke to Al Michaels, Urban Meyer, Michael Strahan, and so each one of these podcasts includes a conversation based on a famous sports speech that you're pulling on some of the threads from the speech at the time and how it works today. Is that the way that this works?
Yeah, really not only just a speech, but sports happenings like Henry Aaron Chase to break Babe Ruth's record, talking to people. I tell you, the Dusty Baker stuff is absolutely unbelievable. Just what Hank Aaron went through. Muhammad Ali and just, what he went through with not going to the draft and going, through his career and what he stood for. Tim Tebow's speech, the promise, and talking to Tim and Urban Meyer. The first one came out last week, and that was the 9/11 Jack Buck, if you remember Jack Buck's speech, and the role that sports plays in society, and it's bigger than just sports sometimes. So it's been great. I tell you, for me, the interviews were great, but doing the readings for me, I found them to be very difficult. Now, I have to say this, Rich, this is hard for me to say, but I have new respect for you. Let me just say that, because being a narrator is not easy.
It is
you
not.
have to learn the enunciate all the words. I'm a lazy talker half the time, but you don't realize it until you have to read stuff.
Well, plus, you shoot your voice, you shoot it basically between November and, June, right? I mean, so you scream and you're yelling, you got to save your voice, but your voice is definitely distinct. So what did you learn, Doc? I mean, did you interview Dusty for the Hank Aaron episode? Is that?
Yeah, the Dusty stuff was really cool. And that, obviously the pressure that Hank was under, but the pressure the whole team was under. But you learn other stuff more, like Dusty was talking about when they travel, all the black players, no matter what city they would go to, obviously they had problems eating at restaurants and staying at hotels. But the stars of every team would invite the other black players from the opposing teams over to dinner. He said every trip you went on, you would go over someone else's house and have dinner and sit and talk. And not just the black players. It's like, said when they go to Cincinnati, Pete Rose would invite them over. So it was just really interesting to see the camaraderie that the sports had back in baseball. Some really neat stuff. Tim Tebow told a really cool story about after he said the speech, he was in the elevator, and a bunch of reporters were in there, but he had his hood on. They didn't know he was in there. And they were talking about, can you believe that guy said that speech? That was awful.
No way. Really?
So, yeah, it's just really cool to hear all these guys and all their stories.
Did he take his hood off and say, my floor's here, and just get off and then press all the other buttons and then run out the elevator? That's pretty...
Yeah, he should have, but, as in Tim Tebow's way,
that is not.
Say a word, they got off first, and then he went right back up to the locker room and said and went and started working out. That's what Tim Tebow would do.
See, that's it. I'm more spiteful. I'm a definitely more spiteful New Yorker. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.